This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of the Onside Kick right here on MVP Sports. I'm joined, as I always am, by the man, the myth, the legend. He's wearing a Take October shirt because it's MLB playoff season. JD, how we doing? Don of MVP, how we doing?
We're doing great, dude. You know, beautiful Friday.
Last
Thanksgiving here.
Last time the Blue Jays were in the playoffs, was that the Jose Bautista bat flip?
No, that was the last time they. Well, no, the year after was the last time they won. But we've been in the playoffs the last 2 years before this year. We just hadn't won a game.
Who'd you guys lose to?
Last year,
who'd you guys get beat by that knocked you out?
Was it the Orioles last year? I don't remember who it was last year, but the year before was the Rays.
Okay, the reason why I
think
asked,
it was Cleveland. It was Cleveland.
Oh, so cool. So you and I, after tomorrow, could have something in common.
Yeah.
And the thing that we have in common is basically the last time that our teams, actually, no, that'd be a lie because we lost the Rockies, but the last time that our teams made it far into the playoffs, both those teams are in the CS, as the Mets have made it to the CS. And my nightmares have come back. Grimace in a Mets jersey is fondling my nightmares.
Well, in 2015, that Bautista home run year, we lost to the Royals in the CS.
They got eliminated.
And then the year after, we lost to Cleveland in the CS because that was the year you beat them in the World Series.
Yeah. Funny then.
Could have been a Blue Jays Cubs World Series.
Yeah, that would have been cancerous for us. But we're not talking baseball. We're talking football here on the podcast. Thank you guys for coming in. Before we get into everything, we got coach firings today. We got trade talk. We got contender talk. Before we get into everything, though, a little bit of housekeeping. Number one, if you want to join the greatest, I almost said the creatiest, the greatest community in the universe, check out the MVP Discord down below. It is all different sports, everyone from MVP and the real MVP army coming together to create the best community on the internet. We also have our Patreon if you want to watch these as we are recording them, along as other great perks. Go ahead, check that out down below as well. Our Patreon link. All of our social medias are down there. You can the like button, the subscribe button. You can also leave a comment as well. Anything that we say, you can comment to down below. But JD, first thing we're talking about today, let me set the scene. Earlier this week, it was kind of a surprise, but the Jets have fired Robert Saleh. Now, he has, since the firing, made comments. This was about 2 days ago as we're recording this on the 11th. His comments to the firing that he made to Pro Football Talk are, and I quote, "To the Jets organization, I am grateful to have had the opportunity to work with so many incredible people. I will always be appreciative of the love and support from everybody at One Jet Drive." He also went on, I'm not going to read it all, the players, the coaches, really classy in his exit. However, there are some that there's kind of created a little bit of a fallout here, JD, where people right away were like, did Aaron Rodgers kick him out? Was he the reason? Aaron has denied the rumors that he played a role, saying that he didn't know anything about what was happening. It also came out after that the now interim head coach has taken play calling duties away from Nathaniel Hackett, so the Jets already making changes post Saleh. JD, I'm going to take this one first. This, to me, I know everyone wants to blame Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he did the same thing in Green Bay. He kicked out Mike McCarthy. This is just what Aaron Rodgers does. I would love to be able to jump on that bandwagon, JD, and be a Aaron Rodgers hater right now. But let's look at it this way. This Jet team came in with so much hype last year. Game 1, drive 1, boom, Aaron's out for the rest of the year. All that hype like a balloon, poof, just gets sucked down to nothing. Then this year, all the hype is back. First 5 games, they start out 2-3. Everyone's panicking. Can't this just be a guy who in his 4th year, he went 4-13, 7-10, 7-10, and now 2-3? Can this just be a, hey, you haven't had a winning record since you've been here, and now we're getting ahead of this before we see the same thing?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was you who said it the moment he was hired, that he was the wrong coach to take over because of that he was a defensive-minded coach. And at the time, I didn't really agree with that because I believe at that time I was just I would have been just a viewer and but I didn't really agree with that because I thought that he would be able to transcend that defense. And at the time, they didn't have much talent on the defense, but over time, I thought he would be able to elevate the guys and, make them a championship caliber defense. And even when we talked about them coming into this season, I didn't so much talk about Saleh, but I thought that their defense was going to be elite. I thought that they had the guys on that defense to kind of carry them because I always had question marks about this offense. But defensively, I thought that they were going to be good, and then as we've seen so far, they've been all right. Nothing crazy. So I don't to really answer your question. I think it was deserved because yes, you could make the argument that, like you said, Rodgers got hurt last year. Who knows how good that team could have been with him healthy. But the NFL is a win-based business, and he hasn't produced. He hasn't shown he has the ability to win a lot of games or coach the team to win a lot of games. And I was actually talking to our Discord member Kai about this. I believe it was yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
But we were talking about him and well, just the league. Now with the NFL, you are seeing more offensive-minded guys become head coaches, and I think that is just the reality of the situation. Because I told him that with defenses, I feel like if you have an elite defensive players, that can help carry a okay defensive coordinator. But if you have an elite offensive coordinator drawing up plays, that has more of an effect on the offense, even if they're less talented group, So I just think that unfortunately for him, that I don't know if he'll ever get a head coaching gig again.
He already says he does not plan to coach in 2024. He's not going to join a staff now.
No, which that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But even going forward, next year, I don't see him getting a head coaching job because even let's just say, he didn't coach an elite defense.
Yeah,
he hasn't. So really, why it seemed like he kind of worn out his welcome with the Jets. Not necessarily that people were kind of talking about him in a bad way, but clearly his message just got stale because even with guys like Sauce Gardner, he hasn't been the same player since his rookie year, really. And I mean, again, if you're supposed to be an elite defensive coach, again, I'll stand on this that Sauce Gardner is probably one of the best cornerback prospects we've seen. And the fact that he's kind of stunted as a rookie,
I'm gonna push back on that just a little bit. And the thing I'm pushing back on is, and maybe you could say, well, Ricky, it's just the talent they have. But this year alone, the Jets defense is one of the better defenses in the league. They're a team that's only giving up 17 points a game. They're a team that there's only one other team in the league that is giving up less passing yards per game, And the only reason why is the team that's number 1, the Titans, the only reason they have less passing yards per game is because their quarterback just gives the ball to the other team and lets the defense score. So the offense for the other team doesn't even need to be out there half the time. Yeah. So they have a good defense, I would say, this year. The thing I'm looking at, though, is I get why I agree with you. It's justified. Only in the fact of you look at the record he has, and then you look at right now. They started off 3-1. They lose to the Niners. They win 2. Their last 2 losses, I feel like if they win that game against Denver, then lose to us, okay, 3-2, he doesn't get fired. But you lose to Denver, then you go on the road. Well, technically both teams are on the road in London, and you lose to the Vikings. This is the Jets panicking, because I will say this, and I hate to defend Robert Saleh, because you were right. When they hired him, I said he was the wrong choice. Now, I will point back to that because you brought it up. There's only one saving grace, and you want to know what that is?
What?
The Jets didn't make the wrong choice, because the other candidate was Arthur Smith, and he had 3 years in Atlanta, couldn't figure out an offense, couldn't figure out how to use Bijan Robinson, and went 7-10 3 years before getting canned in Atlanta. So they didn't screw up. It was either Arthur Smith or Robert Saleh, and both kind of panned out to be the same record-wise as a head coach. The thing that I look at, though, and like this is going to kind of be me defending Robert Saleh, is over the last 3 years before this one, what have you expected him to do offensively with this team? Because the first 2 years, his quarterbacks were Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco, which Joe Flacco, good quarterback, but let's be honest, he's the ultimate journeyman now. He's the old vet that you have on the team just in case you need someone to start who's had experience in big games. And then 2023, the guy you bring in Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback, to be the savior, injures his Achilles in week 1. And I'll be honest, this year, there's a lot of throws. Like, I'll say this. The throw to Mike Williams that should have been a touchdown against the Vikings, is it Robert Saleh's fault that Aaron Rodgers was throwing it at Mike Williams' ankles and it gets picked off? Is that Saleh's fault, or is that I'm sorry, Brett Favre, is that Aaron Rodgers' fault? Because last time I checked, Aaron Rodgers has not played like Aaron Rodgers this year also. So it's like, part of me is like, Robert Saleh's the scapegoat for this Jet team right now. They needed someone to pin it on, and they needed to pin it on him, get him out the door, because they're panicking that they're 2-3.
Well, yeah, but both can be true, right? Like you can make that literal argument, I feel like, for most coaches.
Okay.
And because, like, again, the players, something you hear, and I'm sorry not to make this a Bengals thing, but something you always hear with the players, oh, we didn't execute. We didn't execute the play calls. So you can make that argument for almost any coach on the hot seat, is that, okay, well, whose fault is it? It's the players on the field that, that aren't playing up to standards. So, but I do agree. I think in a way, Saleh was a scapegoat, because that, I believe that the Jets, like, from a top down with their organization,
not a great organization. Yeah.
Just a mess, because they've whiffed on draft picks. They've whiffed on free agents. They're just clearly, I guess, their scouting department isn't that great. And I think that that's where you can kind of see the issues, the cracks in the organization, because it's something that us as, I don't know what you would want to call us, media or just
podcasters,
football fans. Yeah. But something that we really need to consider in a lot of these situations is it comes, like, most of the issues come from up top, right? So, but unfortunately, all we really have to talk about on a regular basis are the coaches, right? So I think, I mean, I'm not saying Saleh's the worst coach in the league. I don't think so. but I can't blame the organization for firing him and maybe just starting new and hope that they strike gold with their next hire because, like I said, he hasn't won enough in the NFL as a head coach. And and if you're an ownership, well, you're not going to admit that it's your fault, right?
Yeah.
So he had to go, and I just the reason why I'm okay with it is because, I mean, I don't think he was going to be the coach to take them to the Super Bowl, and I don't really know where the Jets are from an organizational standpoint because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is really good anymore. So who knows where they go from there or from him at quarterback. And the defense is still, like I said, it's good, but I think it can still improve, especially in the run game, like the run defense.
JD, what are the two most important positions in football?
Quarterback and pass rusher.
Quarterback and pass rusher. I've been saying that for years. It doesn't change. Mm-hmm. When I look at this team, and now I'm looking at 2021, his first year, who did he have start most of his games at quarterback? 13 games? Rookie Zach Wilson. So rookie quarterback off the start, who was rough. Then in 2022, Zach Wilson only played 9 games. You had Mike White and Joe Flacco split the other games. Last year, Aaron Rodgers tears Achilles game 1. Zach Wilson then plays 12 games. You got Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle playing 5 and 3 games respectively. And then this year it's been all Aaron Rodgers. You're right in the organizational part because what has this team done to help him offensively? That is the thing. Nothing. And I do say it's funny that you take a look at Nathaniel Hackett, right? Another one that I don't know what this guy has done to just get jobs, but like this is a guy that ever since his time with Aaron Rodgers at the Packers, he's not that good. Remember the Broncos? Oh, Nathaniel Hackett's going to be amazing. He's going to help this offense so much. And they ended up canning him after 1 year. I don't even think he made it the full year.
I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know if you saw, but the interim coach, Jeff Ulbrich.
Yeah, he took the play calling away.
No, yeah, he gave it to Todd Downing. So I mean, Hackett's still the OC, but Downing, I guess, is going to be the one to call the plays. So we'll see how the offense changes from that.
Let's see. Todd Downing's a guy where this is his first year with the Jets. Well, second year. He was their passing game coordinator last year. In 2021 and 2022, he was the offensive coordinator for the Titans. Ooh, who was the Titans quarterback in 2021 and 2022?
2021, it would have been Tannehill.
Would it have been Tannehill?
Yeah, because that was the year we beat them.
Okay, so Tannehill was the quarterback then. They went to the postseason. And 2022 was still Tannehill.
Yeah.
He was also the offensive coordinator. He was a tight ends coach with the Vikings, but like tight ends coach, you're not really calling plays. He was an offensive coordinator with the Raiders going all the way back to 2017. That seems like ancient times now. Other than Derek Carr was their quarterback and Marshawn Lynch was their running back. So like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that he's not gonna pan out, but it's just like this team is in disarray, and I feel like the only reason why I feel like, and this is me talking after the fact, before the fact I was not calling for them to fire Robert Saleh, but the reason why I'm like, okay, I could see where this kind of needed to happen is you're 5 games in, your next 2 games are against teams that you desperately need to beat. You're playing Buffalo, who just saw its first loss. Right? First loss was to the Ravens? Second loss. First loss was to the Ravens. They then lost to the Texans. That was 2. So you see 2 losses right there. And this is a team everyone's talking about who could go to the Super Bowl this year. Then you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the better defenses in the league right now, right next to my Vikings. Then you get New England. Then you get Houston, who's well. Then you get the Arizona Cardinals, who can play well. Then you get the Colts. We'll see what kind of a Colts team you get, because that's kind of hot potato. Then you get a bye. Then you get Seattle. So it's like the schedule coming up, there's teams that you have to be on your A game in order to beat. And I feel like this needed to happen because, one, we got to salvage the season. And two, we got to make Aaron happy because we only got 1 year left of him after this. And I'm telling you, if Aaron's not happy this year, next year is just going to be riddled with effing trade me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this team, like I said, I mean, we'll see how Rodgers finishes the year. But at this point, like, I wouldn't even care if he asked for a trade because I feel like the big...
Because he's not good.
The big issue, just, you don't need more drama, man. You need a boring remainder of the season. Just as gruesome as it sounds, just die, die slowly and let the season dwindle away, and then refocus for next year. Because, I'm not too worried even with Downing as a play caller, because realistically, the new coach is going to bring in a whole new staff. Anyways, so really, if it doesn't work, then who cares?
And I should say this: Aaron Rodgers has done, before the London game, he was decent.
Yeah,
protecting the football, only had one interception. That Viking defense, though, put him through the ringer. Said, "Hey, we're gonna pick you off 3 times." One of which, I'm sorry, the one interception, he threw it at Mike Williams' ankles. How do you expect Mike Williams to reach back and catch it at his ankles, dude?
So how'd you get the pick then? If he threw it at his
because the cornerback was then cut the route and got down to the ground. To pick it off, or got center of gravity down. Because I remember being watching it live, before work, and being where was he throwing? Mike Williams had the man beat, and he threw it behind him at his ankles. and the quarterback was just able to get down and just get the pick. I was like, what are you doing? I was happy. I mean, my team got the pick, but come on, man. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.